Over the last 101 days, it's been on a relay across the world, starting in the birthplace of the Games, Athens. We sent Craig to find out more.
2004 was my first ever Olympics as a presenter in the birthplace of the modern Olympics, right here in Athens.
The jaw-dropping Panathenaic Stadium was originally built in 330 BC and played host not only to the 2004 Games, but also the first Games of the modern Olympic era in 1896.
I know what you're probably thinking. He keeps saying modern Olympics, but it was 1896. But context is very important around here. You got to remember, the Parthenon was built over 2,500 years ago. 200 years after the first Olympics.
The birthplace of the ancient games in honour of Zeus was Oympia, 160 miles from Athens.
Back in the day, if the athletes disrespected the games, they were whipped. If they cheated, well, they had to buy a statue for the god Zeus, possibly sold to them by the event organisers.
It's thought over 40,000 people attended the games to watch track wrestling and chariot racing.
Here's a fun fact. In the ancient Olympics, it was men only and they competed naked. It made the baton change in the relay very, very tense, though.
In 339 AD, the Games ended, and it took several attempts over thousands of years to bring them back.
But it wasn't until 1896 that things got back on track. Just imagine the scene in here, right? 60,000 screaming fans, 241 athletes from 14 different countries, all competing at the highest level. And that was the birthplace of the modern Olympic Games.
This is actual footage from the first modern Games, including the high jump. Good form now.
There were 14 nations that took part here, all from Europe, except the US team. And that was the rebirth of what we call the Olympic Games.
Because of that Olympics, we have what's happening in Paris this summer.
This is the legacy that will keep on through the generations to come.
At the 1896 Games, winners received silver medals, and it wasn't until 1913 that the iconic Olympic rings were first introduced to represent the 5 regions of the world: Africa, the Americas, Europe, Asia and Oceania, or Australia as we now know it, all united by the Olympic ideal.
So now you know there's 5 rings. It isn't because it just looks pretty.
Mr. Nikos Iatrou from the Hellenic Olympic Committee very kindly gives me a tour of this magnificent stadium, which attracts, would you believe it, around 30,000 visitors a day in the summer.
It's the second most visited site after Acropolis in our city. It's one of the landmarks.
And the place itself is so unusual.
It's the only stadium in the world that is constructed out of marble completely.
Entirely marble. Very soon we're going to see the Olympic flame being lit in Paris for the Olympics. We cannot wait, but it all starts around here.
Yeah, Olympic flame always is lit in the ancient Oympia, and then it travels here. That is the handover ceremony to the organizing committee of Paris. We had something like 45,000 people attending the ceremony. Wow. And it's something that is happening every 4 years for all the Olympic Games.
Magical, magical.
And talking of magic, how about this? Locals use this iconic stadium to jog in the morning.
This is an unbelievable treat. Yeah. This is like being allowed to play football in Old Trafford. I'm a bit of a romantic, right? But I can feel like the spirit of the old games here, right? Do you know what I mean? The sense of history. It's amazing.
Anyone who wants in the UK can come and see this.
Anyone can come and run here. Wow. Is this how you start your every morning?
Not every morning, but yes, it's a great start.
And it's not just the joggers who get to use it. Schools are invited along too.
This is what it's all about. We're in perhaps the most important sports stadium in the world, yet it's full of kids dancing, singing, playing sport, having a good time. This is wonderful. What I love about this is some of these kids will be inspired by this place. They might go on to take up sport, and there's a chance they'll get to represent their country in an Olympics. And it could be because something stirred them here. It's a very special place, isn't it?
It's a birthplace of the Olympic Games. You have to visit it.
Oh, Oh, thank you,
So
Craig.
impressive.
We absolutely love that. I love Athens. Have you ever been?
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.